So Massachusetts does not usually make national political waves. And when it does, it's almost always because of something quirky or funny. But right now, Massachusetts is trying its best to throw a really big rock into the very still waters of national Democratic politics. This is a column that just ran in the Sunday Boston Globe urging Senator Elizabeth Warren that she should run for president. This is another column that just ran in the Sunday Boston Globe urging Senator Elizabeth Warren to please run for president. This is another column that just ran in the Sunday Boston Globe urging Elizabeth Warren to run for president. And this is the editorial that just ran in the Sunday Boston Globe alongside all of those other columns on the same day, all on the same page, imploring Senator Elizabeth Warren to please run for president. Boston Globe, one of the best papers in the country, the dominant paper in the whole northeastern corner of the country. Boston Globe just basically did a whole special section of the paper devoted to trying to persuade Senator Elizabeth Warren that she really ought to run for president this year, even though she clearly does not want to. Editorial page editor of the Globe today to ask about this paper's decision to go huge with this editorial push. The Globe told us that they haven't done like an official archival search or anything, but as far as they know, this paper has never done anything like this before. They said they asked themselves what would be the most provocative, interesting, and unusual way of getting this point across, that they believe Elizabeth Warren should run for president, and they decided on this full blast approach with running all of these columns and this editorial all simultaneously. The editorial page editor told us that the Globe wants to, quote, urge a discussion of the ideas that Elizabeth Warren represents on a national scale. We feel the best way for her to do that is for her to get into the primary. And so they make the case. They make the case over and over and over again in, again, what amounts to a special section of the Boston Globe. Democrats would be making a big mistake if they let Hillary Clinton coast to the presidential nomination without real opposition. And as a national leader, Massachusetts Senator Elizabeth Warren can make sure that doesn't happen. While Warren has repeatedly vowed that she won't run for president herself, she ought to reconsider. She should not shrink from the chance to set the course for the Democratic Party or cede that task to Hillary Clinton without a fight. If Senator Warren puts her causes and goals front and center as Democrats gather their forces for the crucial 2016 campaign, Elizabeth Warren could enrich the political process for years to come. That's all from the Globe editorial. The columns that the Globe ran alongside that editorial make the same case from a bunch of different angles. Warren is the Democrat best positioned to draw out Hillary Clinton in areas critical to the future of the Democratic Party. Elizabeth Warren would be a strong candidate. She should win. She could win. This moment was made for Elizabeth Warren. The Globe told us today that what they have just done with this, again, sort of editorial onslaught, they told us today that this should be mistaken as an endorsement of Elizabeth Warren for president. This is not a presidential endorsement. What they are endorsing is the primary process. They want Democrats to have a primary, and they think Elizabeth Warren would give her the best one. In other words, they're not saying they want Elizabeth Warren to run for the presidency because they necessarily want her to win the presidency. They want her to run because her running would itself be good for the country, and specifically good for the Democratic Party. Basically, they're saying that her being in the race would pull the Democratic Party to the left. Or at least to the issues of middle-class economics and the absolutely stupefying levels of income inequality that we have that have been getting so much worse so fast, even as the economy starts to get better. Even if she couldn't win, at least her issues would then be in the race. So it's got to be weird. Like if you're Elizabeth Warren, right? You open up the paper Sunday morning. Good God, right? There's the editorial, and there's a column, and there's another column, and there's another column. The whole section of your hometown paper devoted to persuading you to run, which you do not want to do. That's got to be kind of a weird breakfast read, right? But it's also an interesting argument that's happening right now in Massachusetts. This argument about Elizabeth Warren, right? There's this interesting argument that whether or not you can win, there might be value, there might be great value just in you running. That just by running, if you run well, if you run in the right race at the right time, even if you don't win, you can pretty radically change the direction and the commitments of one of the two major political parties in this country. You can have a huge effect on national politics just by running. Which brings us